Hello and welcome to another edition of Pulp Picks. My name is Patrick.
I'm Fritz.
And we're here to give you this week's reading recommendations on New Comic Book Day. Back after a week off. The weather conspired against us. You commute in, so that was just not happening.
No. Which is funny considering it's supposed to get into like the 60s maybe today.
Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous.
Wild.
I live literally a mile from the store. And I got stuck twice on my way in. So, it was March in Minnesota. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So, anyway, we're back this week, and we've got some great new picks. And you've got a number one that plays with time a bit. Yeah, let's hear it.
So, my pick this week is Assorted Crisis Events, the new series from Image by...
Not DC.
Yes, no. We were talking about it beforehand, like, between the title and, like, some of, like, the clock iconography in here, like... They're definitely like playing with some like classic DC stuff, like their Crises, Watchmen, like that. But this is very much his own thing. Like that kind of stuff is just kind of like window dressing to what the actual book is. So this is the new book by Dennis Camp, and let me see. I'm not familiar with the artist, so Eric Zawatsky. Yeah. Who just after this issue is already like pretty up there for me. Just they're able to capture stuff like that's so lifelike but also like so weird at the same time. Like, so this book, basically the premise is, actually funny enough, referencing Crisis stuff from DC, is time is broken. Everything's just kind of like weird and messed up. Like you've got people from like different timelines like popping in, people from the past and the future, like going around, people getting like frozen in a moment in time. All kinds of weird stuff is happening. And this series is kind of like, it's going to be sort of an anthology where like each issue is following different various like assorted crisis events. This issue, we follow this lady. She's trying to just like live her life. She's trying to get her clock fixed. She's dealing with the fact that there's always like something stupid happening outside her apartment. Like someone's either like trying to film a movie, or there's like a baby bursting out of someone's chest because they like reverted, but like in a weird way through time. Yeah, it's like all manner of stuff. And it's just like her like trying to like find her normal and frankly not succeeding at it. Like the entire book is just her like kind of like downward spiraling through like more and more crazy and stupid things happening. It's fun. It's interesting because on the one hand, it's like, it's just kind of like a fun little like sci-fi romp, like dealing with like time shenanigans. On the other hand, like it's also very much a book about like dealing with the world today, where it just feels like there's like always something awful happening. Like there's just always something. You open your phone, you turn on the news, you like grab a newspaper, you look out a window, and there just always seems to be like something. And a big part of what this issue is about is like how like society just kind of like goes on even with all that happening.
Always has.
And like how maybe that's not like always like the best thing. Like you just kind of like you can just like say, oh, like you can just like live with this and you can like deal with these things happening, and then like seeing the actual like material effects of the people on the ground. Like how things like are like actively deteriorating. Like they poke fun at all kinds of stuff, like how like politicians and celebrities will be like, no, don't worry about it. They poke fun at stuff like fascism and like police brutality, homelessness.
All very funny topics.
Oh yes. No, to be fair, the police brutality part does have a couple really funny lines, but. Do you think I should get therapy? Nah, you worry too much about it. Like, it's a great little exchange. They deal with like topics of just like, oh, according to our records, this person doesn't exist yet, so they're not actually people, so we can kind of do whatever we want to them. Yeah, like exploitation of people, like how people perceive. Like, there's this lady in jail that's just like, it's all a simulation. Another lady in the cell pukes. That's a really impressive simulation. like it's just like how people are like trying to deal with these things, and for better or worse. And like it's super cool just to like see how things just kind of like escalate throughout the issue. Like there's this like these running themes, like her like checking these updates on her phone about like other stuff going around in the neighborhood with like time stuff. And I don't know, we've talked about this a lot because Camp gets up here a lot because of his work on Ultimate Books. And don't be surprised in a couple of weeks when his Absolute Martian Manhunter is up here.
Right.
I will guarantee you right now that's happening. But it's so cool just kind of like see him really get to cut loose on a creator-owned book after been mostly doing like stuff at like Marvel for a while now. And he does not disappoint. Like I was saying, like Swatsky, just art is amazing. Yeah. Really just like captures, like can do like mundane, futuristic, like weird, monstrous stuff. Like it's like nothing seems to be outside their wheelhouse. And yeah, could not recommend this book enough. I greatly look forward, like the fact that there's going to be like 3 Dennis Camp books I'm going to be looking forward to for like several months now is going to be like amazing. And I think he's even said like he's got other stuff in the pipeline, which could not make me any happier. But yeah, no, fantastic start. Can't wait for more. You also have a number one, a very different number one.
I do. Mine is a one shot. And I picked Nick Fury versus Fin Fang Foom.
Which the title alone I feel like is like enough for like ticket of admission.
Yeah, well, and the cover is great, right? Like, Foom has always kind of had a very interesting kind of look because, I don't know, the shape of his head for a dragon is just so funky.
There's that, like the he's got like those very like curvy teeth where like they're these like very kind of like jagged like cinder block looking things almost.
Yeah, well, it's that Kirby effect.
Yeah, I like everything about him.
The big blocky kind of hands, but then the kind of more slender, you know, like Chinese dragon kind of body.
There's so much about him that like on paper shouldn't work, but like he always just looks like he has such a dynamic look that I just love him when he shows up.
And he's a space dragon, which is also cool. So I didn't read much on the solicits for this one. I just saw it and thought, oh, that looks cool. I'll check it out. I assumed wrongly that it was going to be something out of continuity. It's not. So this is actually taking place in 1940 in the 616 universe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's before Fin Fang Foom shows up in Marvel continuity. His first appearance being in the 60s. And what, Tales to Astonish or Strange Tales? I can't remember which one he shows up in first. But anyway, and it's also before Nick Fury has the Howling Commandos. So at the beginning of this, Nick is just citizen Nick Fury trying to make a living in aerial acrobatics show. So he's a wing walker. And he gets recruited to come do this job. And he kind of pushes back against it because he's had dealings with this guy before. And I should say, J. Michael Straczynski wrote this book and obviously did research on both of these characters. I'm guessing had probably read quite a bit of it going into it. And that's where the inspiration for this came from. But what I really enjoyed about this book was kind of the tying together of not only the Marvel history, but also the history of the world at that point in time. So Nick gets connected to the Flying Tigers, which was really cool, I thought. It's a fun little historical note about where the United States was at that point in time, and how they were trying to navigate the geopolitical scene, right? So anyway, they've got the Flying Tigers are running into something that is causing problems, and they don't know what it is because it's knocking down planes. So Nick goes to investigate, and you can imagine from there what it is if I have to tell you. I mean, it's in the title. So, but it was really cool. And it's just a quick little one-shot. It's a fun little Nick Fury story. It gives you, you get to see a number of the Howling Commandos. yeah, it was just really kind of fun. I'm not going to say it was a great book. It was a nice little side distraction book that it's nice to be able to pick up a one-shot once in a while that doesn't try to be more than it is. Like, this doesn't drastically change any Marvel canon, right? Yeah. It's just kind of a little one-off. And usually I don't like these flashbacky stories that try to tinker with people's history or whatever, just because it just usually the puzzle pieces or the years don't mesh well together. You know, it's like, well, if that was really the case, why, you know, I don't know. It's kind of like you get lost in the minutia of it instead of just being able to enjoy the story. And with this one, it was like, it was a kind of bump together meeting. And kind of like, you know, back in the day when Captain America bumped into Wolverine in World War II. Like, you know, he wouldn't have necessarily put those pieces together. And that could be a thing. It was just some Canadian soldier named Logan, you know? But it was fun. I thought the art was solid. I wasn't familiar. Elena Casagrande.
I know I've heard the name before. Let me take a look here.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Oh, right? That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Especially the biplane stuff. I feel like biplanes are hard to do. But yeah, the facial expressions. I felt like the Nick Fury stuff was just really well done. Yeah, no, this is good. Yeah, it was kind of reminiscent of the new Wolverine series, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So, I thought it was just a lot of fun. So if you're a fan of you know, classic 616 stories and Nick Fury, this is just a fun little side adventure that's going to take, 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. But be enjoyable. Yeah. All right. Well.
Yeah, so for our joint pick, it's actually a 2.
A 2 for 1. It's like we're trying to make up for last week or something. Yeah.
So this week we've got Transformers 18 and Void Rivals 17.
Wait, in the same week?
I know, yeah. I think we were talking before, like, Void Rivals kind of got delayed coming out, but I feel like it actually worked out really well because these two issues are, like, very big things happen, especially, like, Transformers-related things.
We get big reveals that have been teased for basically the entire series on each of these.
Yeah, so, like, Transformers, it's the climax of this current arc. We've got the big final showdown between the two, like, Horde and Decepticon factions in Seattle.
Yeah.
We've got some stuff going on with Ultra Magnus. There's some, like, other players that are, like, it's kind of unclear, like, who they are just yet. But
wait, what?
Oh, the Ultra Magnus storyline.
Right. Yeah, like who's this clandestine military group?
Yeah, and the thing is just like, well, there's 2 possible answers, maybe a third. Who knows?
Well, that was kind of where I went, and yet the look of them was really vague.
Yeah, like
there weren't any, say, recognizable vehicles. Iconography there.
Yeah, but no, so that was good. Like, there's stuff going on. Cybertron, that's super cool.
Yes,
a new member has joined the cast. That
that they had their brief introduction last issue. So I think we can say it's the Metal Van.
Yeah, like like, and cause it was one of those things where, like, once it happened, it's just like, this all makes sense. Like, Treadhead is a completely new character, and they're off to a fun start. I like.
If we don't get a toy, I will revolt.
I would be. Well, they did show off at there was like
the Void Rivals.
Yeah, there was a Toy-Con recently where they actually showed off. There's going to be like little figures of some of the main cast from Void Rivals in like the original A style, where they've got like the bands and the legs and everything.
Yeah, the O-ring.
Yeah, which then also. Crazy enough, there's so much happening in this issue of Void Rivals, and it's not even like the final issue of this arc, but like we finally get to learn like the history of Zerda-Trion, like
or do we?
Yeah, we learn a history of Zerda-Trion, we learn a history of like why the Great Ring exists, what like Goliant is, how this connects to a bunch of other stuff with like the Transformers and the Quintessons.
Yeah, so I got to think that the next and final issue in this arc is going to be an alternate telling of this history. But we'll see.
It'll be interesting to see, like, because one side's saying, like, we got to do this thing, and the other side's saying we got to do this thing. And it'll be interesting to see, like, which is one side right? Are both sides wrong? How are they wrong? If they are, if you've been enjoying the whole like Skybound experience, these are definitely two issues that you're going to want to get.
They're pivotal.
Yes, and even outside of being like plot whatevers, like both books just continue to just like be fun. There's a great sequence in Transformers where someone gets dropped from the top rope for all intents and purposes, and it's like a fantastic double page splash.
Yeah.
There's some fantastic character bits, like there's the line, "I exist only to kill."
Yeah.
Like, should not make me laugh as hard as it did.
Well, they also definitively called out what color that character is.
Yeah, no, I didn't think about that.
Purpose. Yeah.
Like that was good. Void Rifles. I really enjoy like all the different little like character interactions because like just like the way Kirkman does have like a really fun way with relationships where you've got these like familiar relationships, these like friend relationships, these like kind of like almost like workplace relationships. Like they all like have these like certain like flavors to them that he really like captures well, I feel like.
Yeah, and I feel like we're building towards something in all of these books, right? Like, I mean, obviously each of the books is building towards something, but we've got to be coming up on some sort of event, right?
I would be shocked if, because like we know they've got Free Comic Book Day book coming up this year that obviously is going to be like building towards something, so I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out and then there's like an announcement for like this summer, this fall, like the first big like Skybound crossover book or something.
Right. Yeah. I would guess that's going to tease it. What do we got? That'll be 1 or 2-ish releases. On probably about 1 release on each of the books before we get to Free Comic Book Day, because that's what, May 3rd? I think it's the first Saturday in May.
Which
always is.
May 3rd, Free Comic Book Day. Stop in. We'll have plenty of goodies.
Yes. It's always our biggest day of the year. It's bigger than Christmas because, comic books are awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all the way that all of the stories are kind of working together right now towards kind of a common, I don't know, crescendo. Is really interesting because you could be reading any one of these books individually and you're not really lost. Each one's going to take you there on its own path, and you don't have to be reading it all. But if you are reading it all, man, it's very like fun to kind of speculate.
It's like it's a satisfying read regardless of like which book, because like I know there's some people like, oh, they're just reading Transformers, or they're just like reading these 2 books, or they're reading Transformers and G.I. Joe, or like some variations of combinations, and either way you're going to be having a good time because these are all like they've all been like really good books.
Well, read them all.
Yes, read them all. Give us money to read them all.
Yeah, for sure. It helps us be here tomorrow,
so that way we can tell you to buy more books.
Right. All right, well, anything else that was close this week?
Let me think here. Batman Dark Patterns continues to be utterly phenomenal. Because like one of the things I really like about this book is like it's being structured into like it's 12 issues, but each 3 issues is like its own little arc. So this is the start of the second arc. There's like a whole like hostage situation going on in this apartment complex. There's something really weird about this apartment complex in terms of like how like space seems to work, how like sound bounces off of things. There's something going on, and by the end you kind of like you start to realize like what it is, and it's just like I'm not sure how he's supposed to deal with this.
Yeah, interesting.
It's an interesting problem to have to like handle. But no, that one was very close to making it up here. Anything in particular for you?
Yeah, Green Lantern Corps continues to be really good. I thought this issue I maybe even liked better than last issue. It was just kind of cool. So it focuses on a group that Jon Stewart's leading, and they're investigating some stuff, and the plot really thickens. So kind of the major story arc, the beginning of it was really revealed in this one. There's a big reveal at the end of it, but it's universe shaking. Like there was a major occurrence that will have ramifications for the DC universe from here on out. So yeah, if you're into DC space sci-fi wing, then definitely check out this book. What was the other one that I was going to say? Absolute Superman. Man, that Absolute line just continues to be great, and the art in this book in particular, I mean, the art in all of them is very good. I just think it's such a cool take. They're using red so much.
Yeah, I don't know who the colorist is on this, but whoever they are, like the colors they use, especially for the like Krypton sequences, is super cool. And just it's really fun just how they're able to use that to like differentiate between like the Earth and Krypton sequences too.
I think something insidious happened in this that we don't know about yet.
Yeah. Potentially, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm very curious to see if I'm right. Maybe I'm just, looking for shadows everywhere at this point in time. But I see a confrontation coming between Cal and a classic villain, and I think it started in this issue.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Absolute books, super excited next week is not only the end of the first arc of Absolute Batman, which super excited for.
Yeah.
Also the start of Absolute Flash.
Woo-hoo! Yeah. I'm really excited. I really like the promo that's in the DC books right now. I just pointed at a Marvel book, but I really like the promo in it. Yeah. It's very cool. And that's Lemire, right?
Yep, Lemire, and I think Nick Rupples is like the artist who like not familiar with his stuff, but really like what I've seen.
Yeah, for me, the Flash art is real hit or miss. Like if you can't draw great running poses, which I don't know. Sometimes the Flash stuff just looks so static. You know? But anyway, All right. Well, so a couple big announcements. One, Free Comic Book Day is coming up. We talked about that one. The other is Free Comic Book Day is not going to be here.
Yes.
Yeah. It's going to be at our new location. We are moving 1 block south of here. We are purchasing our own store. It is going to be our permanent residence. It's going to take us some time to get it all ready and whatever. So the move-in date is fluid at this point. It's really based on when that spot's going to be ready to go. We are hoping to have the disruption be minimal, maybe down for a day if we can kind of limp through and do half, like even limited operations. Yeah. We'll try to do that. But there's a lot of stuff that has to be done. So our new address will be 731 South Front Street. We are extremely excited. We've been working on this for months and months and months, and it's the big surprise announcement that we've been alluding to on the Pulp Picks videos for, I don't know.
At least it would have been funny if we were just like, and it's not even the thing we were teasing yet.
No, it definitely is.
No, it definitely is.
So stay tuned for more specifics on it, but we will be out of here by April 30th at the latest. Yep. So new Free Comic Book Day will be our kind of our big hoopla event to really kick things off at the new location. I'm hoping that we're open for a week or two at the new location before then, but hey, it might be a few days before then.
It all depends on a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. We've done it a few times before, so it's not anything that we haven't tackled. But it is a challenge. So, but we're extremely excited. We'll have dedicated play space. We'll have dedicated retail space. The amenities there are going to be an upgrade over what we've got here. So we're very, very excited. So anyway, all right. Well, I think that's probably enough for one day.
Didn't you have like another announcement about like a guest appearance or? Oh,
that's right. My gosh, in all the excitement, I totally spaced on it. We've got local artist Scott Lumen is coming in on the 22nd. So March 22nd, it's a Saturday. He'll be here from 11 to 2.
Wait. Oh yeah, that'd be next week then, right?
It's a week from Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's currently writing a comic book, and it's called Salem's Corners, and it's, I don't know, it's how do I describe it? It's got kind of a Stranger Things kind of vibe, but like less dark and more light and funny. It's like Stranger Things meets Clerks.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so he's definitely like a '90s kid, and it's got that kind of vibe, kind of like Grommets. Kind of along those lines. So he's got a very cool cartoony style. He's got a really interesting story as to how he is where he is self-publishing this book right now. And he's writing and drawing and has been working on a project for years and years and years. And this is kind of the detour that he's ended up in. But really interesting to talk to. He's had some obstacles that he's had to clear, and he made a transition from drawing physically on paper to doing it digitally on a tablet now, and there's a reason behind all of that. So yeah, it's really good. So you can check out we'll put a link in the video for the website. And check out his stuff ahead of time. But yeah, we'll have books, prints, buttons. He's got a bunch of stuff that he's going to be hawking here. And then he'll be signing and chatting with people. And so, yeah, if you've ever had kind of an inclination to write or draw your own book, he's doing both. He can give you a good background on both of those. And yeah, he's got a full-on initial issue, and his concept is to actually put it into like a manga sized volume. So he's getting close to being done with the number of pages that would be. So yeah, it's very cool, and it's the whole route that he's taken to get to this point is a very interesting story. So I highly recommend you coming in. And if nothing else, you can support a local artist who's trying to get their project up off the ground, get a copy and get it signed, and hey, maybe it gets optioned someday, and or he sells it to, well, that's part of the story. So maybe the publication takes off and he can end up doing it at a larger publisher or something. So how cool would that be, to say I met this guy before he was the guy. So anyway, all right, so lots of stuff happening in the next month and a half, 2 months. So stay tuned. We'll have lots more information coming up on all of those things. But yeah, until then, we will be back next week with more picks. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share. And check out our video next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. We had no DC books up here. That was a terrible reference. No, it's always a good one. All right. Weakest ending ever. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
There's just so much exciting stuff. How do you wrap it up?
That would have been a great time, though, for like a bat to have gotten into the store again. Just like flutter through.
The other day, Jesse was referencing that, and he's like, "Oh, you could handle it like I handled the bat." And I said, "Have Roger take care of it."
Like poorly, giving Fritz a call when he's on vacation to be like, "Hey, so there was a whole bad thing." Just like, man, I'm not at work right now. I don't care.
Showing up, all armored up and ready to go after the problem has been addressed.
I'm on the other end of the state. I can't do anything about this.
We're safe talking crap about it because Jesse doesn't watch these videos.
Honestly, even if he did, we'd still talk crap about it.